hate anchovies. Welcome
Shoot.
to the Baron Title Podcast. I'm your host, Dustin.
I'm Anna.
I'm the Duke of Dead.
Oh man, we are here covering something that has been on my list, personal list, for many a year. We've been doing this podcast for 4 years, and we're finally getting to it. We are covering, oh God, what year is this? 1980?
1997.
1997? Okay. We're covering the 1997 Spawn.
Spawn!
And I have a lot of stuff over here because Spawn, because of this movie, was and still is my childhood. I got movie figures over here. I got comic books upon comic books upon comic books. And I am so stoked to talk about this movie. And before we do that, we're going to go right over to Rotten Tomatoes. And then we'll get
Tomato
into our...
Dustin said his little clown is excited to talk about some Spawn.
Literally. So we're going to do this right before we get into our...
Anna.
into our history. So, here we go. So, yep, it is from August 1st is when it was released on 1997. And Big D, let's go with you. So we got 47 reviews. We're going to start with the critics as always, but we have 47 reviews.
47 reviews. This movie is not liked by a lot of people, but those people don't really matter. I'm going to say, but I am going to say 36%.
Okay. Anna, what about you?
Oh dear. 40. $1, Bob.
$1, Bob.
All right. We're sitting at a huge 17%.
My God.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a
That
little
makes
blasphemous,
sense.
I feel.
It does. It does.
But there's people on this movie that are in this movie that talk about that they don't like this fucking movie. So it just makes sense why.
I mean,
the
it kind
critics are-
of ended somebody's career in a way. 'Cause,
I don't know a lot of the history of this.
yeah,
Kinda.
But we're gonna go.
Technically.
Yeah, we're gonna go over to the audience, which has over 100,000 reviews.
Damn.
Okay, it's still not. That's
Not
still
ruins.
not the ruins.
Right.
No. Okay.
So we'll start with Anna this time.
55.
Okay, Big D.
I was gonna be in the same realm. I'm gonna say like 48.
You are very close. 37%.
Oh.
So
Oh,
this
wow.
movie is kind of not
Your
liked
face. You're...
by a lot of people, but I love this movie. I know that you love this movie because we've talked about it. Anna, we're gonna talk to you because we're gonna go over all our histories, and I'm excited to hear from both of you. But Anna, I want to go to you first, just because I haven't heard you say anything about this movie. So, what is your history?
Yet again, this is the beginning of my history with this. I definitely heard of it. I feel like even just hearing about it, I knew nothing about it because when you first said Spawn, I was thinking, my mind was going to Natasha Henstridge, Species.
Oh,
That's for some
yeah.
reason. That's the kind of vibe my brain
Around the
was
same
going
time
to
frame that
for
movie came out.
whatever
Sure.
reason. So then once I realized it was like pretty much a superhero movie, for lack of better words, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was surprised by how much I did enjoy this. It was fun. I didn't.
Hell yeah.
It wasn't like a knock it out of the park home run, but I didn't hate it. I had a lot of fun with it, and it has a lot of charm. Like I even brought it up to my buddy at work today, who. He's one of those that he doesn't watch a lot of movies. I'll bring up a newer movie to him. He'll be like, nope, never heard it. Nope, never seen it. He also doesn't care if I spoil stuff, so I'll go on rants sometimes. But I brought it to him today. I was like, "Did you ever see that movie Spawn that came out in the '90s?" He was like, "Oh hell yeah!" And I was like, "You've seen that, but not half this other shit." You know. But yeah, we'll get into it. But pleasantly surprised first watch.
Hell yeah. Big D, hit me with it, man.
So, I don't know if I've ever talked about her on this show, but I've talked about her a lot on the Flicks and Friends. The reason I am the way I am with movies is because of my grandma. I was grandma's movie buddy. Anytime we'd go to the movies, I have like, I think I have like 3 distinct movies that we are going to talk about or have talked about already. That I have like these movie theater stories, and this is almost one of them. I remember when Spawn came out in '97. My grandma, we'd get on the bus and we would go to the theater. But when Spawn was coming, I was like, "Hey, can we go to like the West Oaks Mall?" That movie theater was the one movie theater I knew of that had like the big surround sound, and it was a treat going to that one. Not the Dollar Theater, not Grandma's local spot.
Yeah,
It was a little further to get to. We took public transportation, and down here in Florida, it's a lot different than anywhere else with public transportation because we had to take like 5 buses
Jesus.
to get where we were going, and it was on the same fucking road she lived on.
What?
Yeah. So, it's stupid, but Spawn is one of those that I have held near and dear to me since 1997. And we're going to get into other reasons why I love this movie, why I love people in this movie, and the charm about it, like Anna was saying. So, Little D, round us out with your history. I see you, dude. You're like a fucking tube of toothpaste getting rolled up from the bottom.
Dude, you have no idea. I didn't see this in a theater because I would have been 5.
Yeah, shut up.
But I did rent. I saw this, I think. It's actually kind of funny because I watched this with my grandmother as well. Because I would go over her house a lot, especially on the weekends. Because I'd be with my mom. When my mom was working, I'd be with her. And this, I think, was on the TV, and I saw it. And then we had a Blockbuster not that far from us. So I was like, I want to see this movie again. We went there, we rented it. And I had this thing on loop all weekend. I was like, this suit looks fucking sick. I haven't seen anything like this. This is great. This isn't the time where like nothing is gonna look better than this. You know how like video games back then, like nothing's ever gonna top this.
Dude, on the DVD it says the CGI spectacle of the year.
Yeah.
The tagline.
Oh, really? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
I believe
And
it. Yeah.
Another thing that I love so much about this is like the cover itself sells it to you so hard. It's Spawn there. He's got his like the whole getup on. The cape is flowing, and you're like, this is awesome. So yeah, I rented it. I eventually got the Game Boy Color game. I know there was one I think on the PlayStation.
Sega.
It wasn't a tie-in with this movie. It was like its own comic book one, but then they had the Game Boy one that was the movie one. And then after, I started picking up some comics. And I just kept picking up comics.
Some Lucy's,
picking
baby.
up comics. And then years and years later, there was a toy store over here that had all the movie toys unopened. And I was like, what? Completely unopened. And these are all here, like on the side of it. You know, it's got the mask on it. It's fucking sick.
Oh, wow.
So sick.
Is that the vibrator? Is that who that is?
I do have the Violator.
Oh.
Right here.
He does that. He goes, I'm the vibrator, the vibrator, the violator.
And of course, I have to have Spawn. Can't not have
dope.
Spawn. And like on the back of it shows you all the other little figures that are on here. There's so many. And I have like comic book ones over here that are not from the movie. But yeah, this just spawned.
There you go. He said,
It just spawned so much love of superheroes. And this is technically more of an anti-hero because Spawn is not technically a superhero, but he is, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole backstory to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie just has so much charm to it. Yeah, there's maybe some words in here that we probably don't want to repeat today, which is this is telling at the time. But
Yeah, it's a product of its time. Yeah.
Yeah.
and we were talking about this when we were discussing these movies, especially last week, how I was like, this movie, one thing that I always remembered from it for being in the 90s of how amazing the CGI is compared to a lot of the other movies out there. What they did with the cape, the suit, like the special effects on that suit and Al's face is amazing.
Yeah.
So there's so much of this movie that just draws so much love to me. And every time I watch it, I'm like a little kid again. So when I was watching it for the show, I literally watched it 3 times in a row. I'm like, yeah, this movie is cheesy. It's not technically one for one for the comic because obviously you got to elaborate on some things and some characters aren't exactly what characters are supposed to be. And we're missing the 2 detectives that are supposed to be in it. But that's why we have the animated series, which is something else that came out, I think, a couple years later on HBO.
Same year.
Is it the same year? Okay, that's
Same
right.
year.
Dang.
It's great. So yeah, I could just keep going on and on and on, but I wanna dive into this thing because I'm so excited. And Anna, I want to go to you since this is your first time. Like, what about this did you I don't know, get pulled to the most? I guess. Was there anything that stuck out?
So, I am a sucker for a good superhero movie. Like, the Fox X-Men movies, like, those helped raise me. The early Spider-Man movies, that first Iron Man movie, like, those first 4 phases of the MCU.
Yeah.
Just, like, midnight releases. It felt like I grew up with those movies. So, and even movies like Kick-Ass and stuff like that, even though it's not like Marvel or DC, I do find joy in that. And this is that somewhat. And also, I do love a good revenge story.
Sure.
And what else has Michael? Is it Michael White? Michael
Jai White.
What else
All right.
has he been in that like y'all talk about and joke about?
Oh boy! All right, so here we go.
Hit him.
So there is an interview. It's a world famous action interview
Okay.
with Steven Seagal.
Okay.
They're interviewing Steven Seagal, and they go, "Hollywood tough guys." He goes, "Is there anybody who you think in Hollywood that can beat you up?" And Steven Seagal's sitting here thinking, like literally thinking about it. He goes, and the guy who's interviewing goes, "No one." And he goes, "No." He goes, and the interviewer goes, "Michael Jai White." Steven Seagal turns to him and goes, "Can I laugh in your face?"
Is that what that?
That's where that's from.
Yeah.
But Michael Jai White, he
It all makes sense now.
If you've never seen Black Dynamite, you need to see Black Dynamite.
I
Like,
haven't
do yourself
seen
a fucking solid. Don't watch
I
it with.
agree.
Well, you can watch it with Marley. I'm not going to tell you what movies to watch.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can
but
advise, you know.
It's blaxploitation, but modern.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it fucking rules, dude.
Hell
But
yeah.
he does a lot of other action shit. Like he does like Bone In, Bone Out. He was in Cradle to the Grave with
Okay.
Jet Li and DMX. Like he was
I
like
was
an
gonna say-
action guy.
DMX. Okay. Yeah, I knew
Yeah,
the name
no.
sounded familiar, but I just could not place him in
Yeah, but
anything that I remembered.
But he is someone who will absolutely whip the fuck out of Steven Skull. I do not care what he says. Man.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm right
fuck
there with you,
Seagal.
man.
Dude,
I was also surprised to see Melinda Clarke in this as like
Yeah.
the bad assassin because
Priest, yeah.
Yeah.
you know
Return
she
of the
was
Living
in.
Dead 3.
That's what I was about to say. Which one was she in number 3? See, I realized later on in life that she was kind of like this 80s star. So when I was growing up, I just mentioned the show on Gimme Back because I was talking about Adam Brody on Ready or Not. She was on the OC as
OC,
one of
yeah.
as one of the stepmoms. She was kind of like the evil stepmother. That's who I like know her as. And so then, like, that's just kind of frozen in my brain of like every time I hear her name, I think of the OC. But then I realized later on, growing up, watching movies, I'm like, oh shit, she was in a bunch of stuff and is a little bit more, popular amongst a certain group, moviegoers, that kind of thing. But yeah, when she popped up, I was like, oh, okay, this is an interesting
She could
dynamic.
have been in this awesome getup if they let her actually be what she's supposed to be.
Yeah. But
And Martin Sheen too was fun
Yeah.
as the
young, very young, dude. And
yeah.
it's
His
wild.
hair was so black,
So fake. Yeah.
so fake. Yeah.
But the shining moment of the movie is Clown. You know, John Leguizamo's performance in this movie, beautiful.
Dude, his
I see
one-liners.
the appeal. I see the appeal. I see his one-liners, but he got on my fucking nerves. Every time he came on the screen, I was like,
Dustin,
Really?
you know why? Dustin, you know why he got on Anna's nerves?
because he was
doesn't
supposed
eat-
to.
Because he doesn't eat just pepperoni and cheese pizza.
Yeah, he eats it with maggots
He doesn't
and.
like anchovies.
He doesn't like anchovies.
As soon as I saw that, I said, "Nope, I didn't even watch it. I
Bad
can't do.
crispy. Bad
I
crispy.
can't do grossness with food, of any sort, whether it be just like in White Chicks, like sloppily eating food. That is gross. Like it's unnecessary.
But I mean, him in the cheerleader costume was so
Bonnie,
fucking
Bonnie,
funny.
these are man.
that was.
And
I
he
didn't
had
get
the
a chuckle.
He had the little fucking bows in his hair. Everything that he does, it's clown ass shit. But he also is there for business. Like his whole sideline. Well, not even that. Like the sideline deal he has with Martin Sheen about
Yeah.
starting the apocalypse.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, and then little baby old Miko Hughes popping up in here,
Yeah.
man.
I know he was cute.
Yeah. He wasn't cuter than Spaz.
Oh my, Spaz, go home.
It
Go
was
home.
the goodest little boy there was.
I know, and he remembered who his papa was.
But going back to Michael J. White, do you guys want to take a guess what movie he turned down to make this movie?
What?
Take a guess.
Wait. Independence Day?
No.
Oh, what?
God, I think I know what it is, but I don't.
No,
I
I
don't
hate
remember.
you.
He turned down probably the best CGI movie I've ever seen, and that's Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Yeah, no, he did himself a favor for that one. Dude.
He turned down Jax. Like, he was supposed to be Jackson Briggs in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. But we did get him later as Jax when they did that Mortal Kombat Rebirth short film that was on YouTube.
That is true.
And then there was the Mortal Kombat Legacy stuff. But Michael J. White has always been like, I want him to be Jax, you know? Like, and we finally did get it. But it's funny knowing that he turned down, you know, Mortal Kombat Annihilation for this fucking movie.
yeah.
I mean, I would have too.
You
to
know,
be
I've never
honest,
seen either one of those movies.
but Anna.
And this is why it's so fun covering movies with you.
Yeah.
We get to see it through a new perspective.
But like, Anna brought up the not Marvel stuff, which is always fun to see. Like, you brought up Kick-Ass. There's the Ninja Turtles, this movie, RoboCop, stuff like that. Stuff with like almost I don't say anti-hero because he technically is a hero, but he does do things a little bit unorthodox. That's why you would consider, but he's not as anti-hero as the Punisher.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Stuff like that, but he does only take care of demons. He doesn't kill people, so that's another way to bring up the I guess the argument if people want to argue about him being an anti-hero.
Sure.
But dude, I want to talk a little bit about the animated show. If you
Let's do it, dude. Because I watched it after I watched the movie. I was like, I gotta watch this.
Anna, did you dabble into any of it? Have you watched nothing?
No.
All I'm gonna say, I'm gonna turn you on to this, is Keith David.
I was just gonna say that.
Keith motherfucking David? I love him.
That is
He
is
is on.
Spawn.
He's the voice of Spawn?
Oh my god,
I
dude.
love him.
It is so much that they brought him like Spawn when the PS2, the GameCube, and the Xbox, the first Xbox,
Yeah.
all put out Soul Calibur 2 for their systems, but each system had an exclusive character. So like the GameCube had Link from Legend of Zelda, PS2 had Hayachi from Street Fighter, Xbox got Spawn
Yep.
Okay.
as a DLC
Interesting.
character, not even a DLC. He was just an exclusive character, but Keith David did his voice there. But Keith David also came back to do his voice for when they finally finally put Spawn in Mortal Kombat.
It's true.
Oh wow. I
Dude.
love Keith David. He must always be addressed as Keith motherfucking David. And if
Keith
I ever
Mother-
met him, I would tell him that.
He was like, man, your 16 fight with Rowdy Piper was amazing.
Primo.
All your voice acting in Halo is great too.
Yeah, fucking Goliath from Gargoyles. He was
He's in
Dr.
everything,
Facilier. Dude, The Thing?
Yeah,
Man.
the Nope. He was in Nope recently.
He was in Nope, yeah. But no,
That's a crock of shit.
welcome to hell, motherfucker. But dude, it's wild. Not that it's wild. It's. I guess it makes sense why you didn't like Clown, because he is definitely
He's a product of the 90s.
acquired
for
taste.
Sure.
I will say that Leguizamo killed it. He obviously
it's
did a
perfect.
fantastic job. It's just that kind of slapsticky stuff that I don't jive with all the time. It's got to kind of land. And then you pair the grossness with it, and I was just
twins.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He goes, hold on a second. Pulls out his fucking
Go with
tiny
the skin
whities.
marks.
He goes, I got the skin
yeah,
marks.
that too. I was like, you nasty motherfucker.
Well, he's supposed to be disgusting, so
I
that's
know.
it's funny. But my favorite is when they're in the cemetery, and he tells Spawn, because he's like trying to jog Spawn's memories, like here's what happened, here's why you are the way you are. They go to, and it cuts over to those kids doing the satanic ritual
That was funny.
with the rotisserie chicken, dude.
I told you we
Spawn-
should have got a virgin to sacrifice.
Yeah, should have got a real chicken, man. When he digs up the grave and sees his body, and he goes, "No!" And Leguizamo goes, "Oh, you scream like a girl. Do it like this." Dude, it's so good, man. But you are right. There are times where it's a little excessive. It's when it becomes his character's prowess, like that's all that character is for. It becomes you just want to get past his fucking scenes, which luckily we only get him, microdosed in,
Yeah.
we do.
which is good. But unlike this movie, the animated show has a lot of titties in it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
So the comic book does too.
Yeah, but this movie they fought for a long time, and it's the same. And I was going to bring it up when Lil D was talking about how much he watched it as a kid. Is they tried so hard to get this movie a PG-13 rating, and they did. They eventually cut it down to where it became a PG-13 movie. But that's who it appealed to, you know. But dude, if we got a dark Spawn movie. They've talked about doing it for a long time.
Yeah, that's been in limbo for even like Todd. I wanted to brush up on that a little bit too. I think this might have been like 2018, 2019. Like Todd was like, "We got a script. It's going to be this," and how he was pitching it too was like, "It's going to be. It's not going to be solely focused on Spawn. He's kind of be in the background, and then we're going to focus on."
I remember
detectives."
hearing about that. It's like it was going to be like a paranormal movie.
Yeah, it was going to be that, and then
yeah.
he was going to make it like a buddy cop a little bit and make it more of a drama. So it went through a little bit of like hell, and still kind of is in hell.
Mm-hmm.
But every now and then, because I follow Todd and I go on his lives every now and then when he's like talking about new toys and stuff, and he always hints like, "Don't worry, guys, that Spawn movie, it's going to be happening. Blumhouse is going to be part of it." So it has been sold.
Please, no.
I know, but he's like, Blumhouse technically has the rights to Spawn, and as much as I want it to be really good, I just don't think Blumhouse is the people you should give it to. But we haven't seen anything yet, and this was supposed to happen like 3 years ago is when it was supposed to start going into development, and it just kind of stopped. And I don't know if I'm happy or sad, because like we do have this, and we have the animated series, but I think we could use a new Spawn, a little bit with better CGI, more of the comic book in it, and not just it being kind of rewritten for the screen. Because this is literally right around when Spawn was popping off. Like it was in the early 90s, and Todd, when he left like DC and he went to go and do Image Comics, this was what he carried over, because originally this was supposed to be a Marvel thing. Like he was trying to sell it, but they didn't want it at all. And then he was like, okay, I have my own thing, so spawns it, and it hit off. And if we watch the animated series, Todd introduces every episode essentially. And it's just like, this is that, kind of like a Goosebumps type vibe, when you watch it, which what I really really love. But yeah, I don't know.
I think with what we have of Spawn right now makes it so impactful when he does pop up now. When he was in Soul Calibur, when they threw him in, when they finally put him in Mortal Kombat, dude, like it was so impactful that it brought Keith David back to doing it. And that's what I really like about it. Yeah. But Anna, I need to know, what was your favorite part of this movie? Like, what did you like the most? Tell me it was the fart jokes.
No,
tell me it was the maggot pizza.
As weird as it might sound, I really kind of liked. I thought there was something really charming about the CGI. Like, it was so bad, but I didn't care. I just didn't care. Even when that goofy ass monster was on the screen, and it was like a 90s PC kind of literally, I guess. Now that I say it out loud, that's what it was.
Windows 98.
But I like whenever he's telling Spawn, you're gonna be the general of my army. Like, you're gonna command my army. This is what you're gonna do, whether you like it or not. And Spawn says, nope. And this is the instance at the end when we've got all these army guys in this big old place, and he just starts like shooting his green arrow stuff, and like it almost reminded me of Yondu, his arrow. And Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, and was sending it around. I was like, oh my gosh, that's really smart. Like, he's finally like honed in on his power, concentrated. I liked the guy too, the white guy. Costello, yeah, no. Him, he was a great little part. I like when he was peppered in as like the good, whereas Clown was kind of peppered in as the bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. There was a lot of bad, but I just didn't care because I liked the story, Yeah. And I was there for that. So when I like a story, I can look over a lot of the bad stuff that I would normally nitpick if I didn't have fun with it. So.
And I think the best example of that is the iconic, like the commercial scene when he jumps into the ballroom and his floating down with his cape.
Oh yeah, the cape is dope.
Yeah.
The cape is awesome, but that cape looks really, really bad.
Yeah.
Like the composite's bad, everything. But I don't
some scenes when it was shadowed, it wasn't terrible.
No, I'm talking about that scene particularly. Like when he's jumping in, it looks really bad.
It's
but
very
I like
shimmery.
the fact that they made it so grand. It took up so much room.
It was huge.
And that's what I love about that. It's just it makes the character. But I think that there are parts in this movie with when like the Violator or Spawn or anyone, when we get the practical puppets, that outweighs the bad CGI in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of great practical stuff in this, like you talked about earlier, like the way Spawn looked.
Oh,
yeah.
I just kept, every time they did a close-up of his face, I was just looking at all the detail. I was like, damn, you can't see that. I'm sure it was some kind of mask, like application type thing. It's not like you could see his eyes poking out, or anything like that. It looked like that's the way he looked.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Malboja, do you guys know who? Take a guess at who fucking voiced him?
It sounded very familiar, but I didn't look it up, and I couldn't.
Think of any horse in the 80s that's animated, or any dog that needs to bark, or any animal that needs to talk.
I don't know.
Frank Welker.
Oh, okay.
He was also Fred Jones and Scooby-Doo, but I don't know.
Oh, right.
That route.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was Frank Welker, and it's 100%. But you can tell, like, he sounds like the Claw from Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I love it, dude. Like, and I can bring it. Like, I'm talking about, like when Spawn is fighting the Violator in this alleyway, and you see like this, the CGI isn't awful because he's interacting like with the environment, like when he's busting through the walls and shit. Then you get a lot of like the still shots of Spawn face to face with him, and then like the Violator behind Spawn, but it's this big fucking puppet, dude.
Yeah, it's so good.
Phenomenal.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of really good things about this film, and there's a lot of bad things, but I don't care about the bad things. And what I love, and it's such a small little detail, is the glowing green eyes at any time, like he's feeling like some kind of like energy, like you can slightly see it. I'm like, that little detail is amazing because in the comics it's very, very prominent, very prominent.
Yeah.
And with the
very
cape,
spectral.
and then another reason why the cape is so big because that's Spawn. Like he's nothing without his cape. If he doesn't have his cape, he's fucked. So that's why in this they make it so big, and like at the end when he's like standing there, or like it's like he's it's like just like on the statue, and it's like all flowing around him. Oh, it looks so good, and the bullet holes and the rips. Oh, it's so good.
That gargoyle pose is another very iconic Spawn ripped from the comic. Like
it's literally
image.
It's the first comic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And another thing too is when he has his mask off, and then when it comes on, like the whole animation on that is so cool. I love it.
Yeah,
and if you pay
it did look good.
close enough attention to his face, the way like around his eyes, you can kind of see where the mask sits. So like with the white parts of his mask is on his face actually, which I think is really, really cool too. I feel like the whole intro scene is really cool too. It kind of sets you up like, okay, this is gonna be action packed. He goes there and he blows up, the plane, and then people die, and he goes and he's like, well, I wasn't told this was supposed to be that, and then we get the whole him being burned alive, which is so shitty, but it happens. Literally. And the whole awful backstory of just all the people involved. And you really do feel bad for Spawn, and they make that very prominent in the comics as well. It's just like, it sucks, man. You lost your wife, and now like your best friend is with her, and they have a kid because you weren't able to have a kid with her, and it's just like, oh man, it hits so hard. But that birthday scene when he goes over there, and Clown is not Clown, but then is Clown, and it's the same bad crispy. All the
dude,
time, dude.
And if some fucking birthday clown handed Marley that doll, that clown hand, dude,
Smack it back.
Thank you, and he threw it in the garbage.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, dude. But no, like I like the tragedy of Spawn, man, because he talks about it a lot, but he thinks that he's ridding the world of, like the bad guys, or he's taking them out one person at a time.
Yeah.
And not realizing that he had become one because of Martin Sheen's character. Like, he became this monster that, that Hell literally wanted to lead their army with because of Martin Sheen. And tell me now that he went through this huge fucking procedure to get this implant in his heart. Right? The chemical whatever. Into his heart.
That was funny.
And then Spawn went in there and did open heart surgery with his eyes.
So sick.
And he's just...
And then it kept zooming up. I was like,
wait a minute. That's not how your powers work. The only thing...
If he concentrates hard enough, he can make anything happen.
Always concentrating.
Yeah. Constipated, yeah. But the only thing I do wish, but Spawn does use guns because of Al Simmons' backgrounds.
Yes.
Right.
But he also, like, Spawn's, like, the weapon that is iconic is his axe. And I wish we even got, like, a glimpse of one. Like, not just to see one, but, again, I understand how impractical that would be and how impractical that axe would be in a movie about a man that fights demons. Would be a little odd, but I feel like that's why they gave Nicole Williams' character the good guy the blade on his hand.
Oh yeah, Costiago.
Costiago, yeah. But we were talking about it a little bit earlier, Anna, that there was this movie like inadvertently, killed someone because that was his last. This was his last movie.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
but it was not because of the movie. He was just old as fuck.
Yeah.
He was just an old man.
But
Oh,
like
man.
his voiceover too, I think is so good.
Oh, it's
Like,
good.
Him as a narrator for this is amazing.
Yeah. But I love all of the looks we get from him. So so good, man. But we asked Anna Low D, what was your favorite part of this movie?
Dude,
What if you can narrow one down?
it's so tough because of how much I love this movie. I think the one part that I always, every time I watch this, I'm like, I love this scene, is the graveyard one. And it's not because of the stupid idiots in the back. It's because he gets his fucking suit, dude. The thing goes into him, and then he gets his suit. And like the practical with the skeleton, how it's there, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Evil Dead in a way. It's just like the whole everything about that, and also with him like hitting him on the shoulders and like a green like splashing him. It's so good.
Spawn.
It's so good. It's so good. But then like
Yeah.
I guess like it's just because it's just funny. I love the whole fucking pizza fart joke scene. Like that's so good. That's another one. As a kid, I was like, "This is great." And it's something that we quote a lot too is DED dead.
I
We do that a
say
lot. It's
that
from this movie.
a lot.
It's from this movie, and it's stuck with me my entire life. So you know what, John Leguizamo, good job, man, and the writers.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Dead.
Dude.
What about you, dude? Do you have one?
Oh, I already talked about it. It was the graveyard scene, man. I love, not for the sheer fact that he gets the suit, but it's like we get all of the lore. Like we get to see why he is the way he's going to be. So I dig that. I dig that the most. Go ahead. I had something, but I forgot. I just forgot it.
I was just gonna say because there's been multiple Spawns, not just Al, and there is one comic series that I was hunting down for a long time. It was really hard to get a complete set of, but I got it at a Boston Comic Con. One of the vendors there had it, and it's Spawn of the Dark Ages, and it's him, a different Spawn way back. If they were to try to, let's pretend that this Blumhouse thing was never even talked of, like Todd never said anything. If we were to get another Spawn, how sick would it be to have a period piece with somebody like this, with an axe, with a sword, and a shield, and we get in that kind of story?
Let's talk about it. Let's round robin it. If you want to talk about that, if you were to place Spawn in a time period, where would it be?
It would definitely probably be probably around the Viking era, when that was very prominent.
Okay.
I want to see him on a ship, dude, and commanding that, and then the ship being like his suit.
Cape?
That'd be,
The ship is
that
his
would be
cape?
so cool.
Oh, Anna, what about you? Where would you like to see Spawn in the decades
On the Mayflower.
with Christopher
Oh,
Columbus?
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Discovering America.
Like this is what he looks like in the Middle Ages. I don't know if you guys can see it that well.
He looks like Spawn, but he's wearing like the pilgrim hats. And
That's really funny. There
little
is a Spawn that has a tall fucking hat. I'm not even kidding. There is.
Somebody when you Emma.
he has a telescope.
Oh,
I would want a Western. I would want either a Western or it would need to be like 2099, like how Marvel does, like the futuristic
okay.
shit.
with the cowboy hat.
I want to see with some assless chaps, some spurs, Spawn out there going.
But definitely is a cowboy Spawn. I'm pretty sure. I have a Raven Spawn up there that's really really cool.
Well, you know what?
Like,
it's not as cool as the cowboy Spawn I just described, Dustin.
yeah,
okay?
that's very very true.
All right.
But yeah, dude, there's like so many awesome possibilities of having some kind of killing machine like this.
But what I like is when you brought this movie to Anna and I, saying, "Hey, I really want to do Spawn, but I just don't think, it's not really horror centric." Todd McFarlane does nothing but horror centric shit, right? Like, yeah, but it's like it doesn't even matter the context. Like, this is absolutely an action movie,
Yeah.
but with horrific imagery. And we even had to, not that we have to justify it here, but we did Violent Night over December, you know? That was,
Yeah.
There was horrific shit that happened in there. Like Beverly D'Angelo talking about people eating her shit. Okay? Don't shit in my hand and tell me it's chocolate.
Shoot.
Yeah, well, no, that's not, I just said what I heard.
I know.
I just said what I heard, Anna.
It's still a shoe. It's still a shoe moment.
But Todd McFarlane is straight up horror. So this movie absolutely fits onto this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But we
So,
got to
yeah.
get a Spawn versus Batman. Come on.
What about Anna? I got it.
Uh-oh.
Spawn in space.
That would be
Hey,
fun.
I'd be down.
He's not wearing the Spawn suit inside the astronaut suit. The astronaut suit is the Spawn suit. So his head's like this big round thing. He's the eyes right here. He's got the cape flowing behind him in space, dude.
Oh,
That
that'd
would be
sick.
fun.
That's
That'd
the
be
way to
so
do it.
sick.
That's the way to do it. So, yeah. Where do you want to go from here, Lil D?
Man, I don't know. It's just like this movie I could talk about forever, but I don't want to keep everybody here for too long.
Yeah, how dare you?
I just really want to know, for anybody who's listening to this, did you see this as a kid? Was this something that like sparked some sort of interest into superheroes if you were never into them? Did this spawn I keep doing that. Spawn you into liking horror movies? Because there are some horrific moments in here, especially the burning, seeing his face all fucked up like that and being like, ooh, that could happen to me. Or, I don't know. This is like, for how much this impacted me as a person who loves pop culture, and to see how strong it still is and how much love Todd put into this character, because it's literally, this is Todd. Like, if Todd was going to be anything in a comic book universe, he'd be Spawn. And
Well, not in this movie. He was a homeless dude that got thrown around.
that is true.
Dude, I want to talk about that too, just real quick. Sorry,
Let's do it.
but when there's a few things with the Violator when he's going through the village of homeless folk that are the area that they stay in. The Violator has a signature move. Did you guys catch on to it?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's when he picks people up and goes. Love that shit, dude. Because I do that to Weasley. Like, I'll pick him up and go, and then set him down. And then set him down. But Todd McFarlane was he was when Al's walking through and there's he's got the machine guns. He's hunting down the Violator. And he rounds that corner around the tent, and there's that one homeless dude that puts his hands up and scoots away.
Yeah.
That is Todd McFarlane. So
Yep.
Oh,
he
okay.
he is Stan Lee in this movie.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with a cameo.
yeah
I
man.
guess one other part I wanna highlight is the whole the chase scene with the motorcycle and him shooting out grenades out of a fucking truck. There's a very fond memory of mine because that was in the Game Boy Color game. You had to do that, but the game kind of tied in a little bit more that comics have is he has like a certain power meter in the comics, and if he uses too much of them and he runs out, he'll die. So they kind of touch on that a little bit, and he's like, hey, you're gonna kind of have to save your energy and do that. And that's why I
Yeah,
like
quit
when he heals.
rejuvenating all these bullet wounds and neck slices. Quit doing that, or else you'll
Yeah.
actually die.
And that was really, really hard in the game. But what did you guys think of how the use of him turning his bike into things? You think though that I think they were pretty much practical for the most part. I mean, there was CGI involved, but what do you guys
It was
think about
pretty
that scene?
It added something else to him.
Yeah, he does it a couple times. Like there's when he's running from the at the banquet, he's like scouring the building, and his cape turns into like the corner of the fucking building.
Oh yeah, when he goes invisible, that's really, really cool.
Yeah. But this part you're talking about, it's like I never like even to this day, man. Like I'll defend this movie, but where the fuck is he looking from to drive? Like how we see him sitting on the bike to where the eye holes are in this cape. It's like how the fuck do you see out of that?
It's all sense, man.
Oh, it's like a periscope.
Yeah. Probably.
But it's another one, man, where the clowns are adding. He's not even driving the semi truck. He's on it, and he's on the back of it. And he goes, "Open up and say, ah!" Dude,
Yeah, it's so good.
it's so good, man.
Oh man. Oh,
So fucking good.
yeah,
All right, little D. Let's
let's definitely get out of here. But
right.
I guess let's just go. We'll give our ratings. Anna, what would you rate this this out of clown jokes?
Out of 5 farts.
Five twins.
I'm going to give it 3 farts out of 5.
I think we killed him. Oh,
Triplets.
literally. What about you?
Yeah, this was fun. I enjoyed it. If somebody else, came around and said, "Hey, I've never seen Spawn," I would definitely watch it again. But
Good.
as far as like watching it all the time, no, probably not. But it is one that I will definitely revisit, and I had a lot of fun with.
That's good. I was going to ask you that if you would revisit this
I-
one. Would you
I
watch this
bet
with
you-
Marley?
I was saying, I bet you Marley would fucking love the fart jokes in this, dude.
Yeah, she probably would.
I hate anchovies.
Yeah, watch it with Marley and your dad and see
gotta order
who's
pizza
laughing
for
harder.
Yeah.
I give this 4 clown farts, dude. This movie is super nostalgic to me. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But there is a lot of charm to this movie. There's a lot of fun to be had. And like Anna said, like this is one of those movies, if you're in a group setting, throw this movie on. Because there are things that Michael J. White says, that his little quips, there's John Leguizamo's quips, that you just find yourself saying on a day-to-day basis. Like Lil D brought up, I say DED dead all the time.
Same.
So, 4 clown farts from me. What about you, little D? Where does this rank on your fartometer?
I know it's because of nostalgia and how much it impacted me outside of this movie. Because Spawn is literally like a big part of my pop culture life. It's going to be 5 out of 5. And I know it's not a perfect movie. A lot of people can be like, you're going to give this thing a 5 out of 5. But there's just so much to this that has crafted me to be the person that I am and what I love as a person. And I even showed this to my son, and he loves it, and he loves drawing things, and he sees my comics. He's like, that's really cool. He's even drawing Spawn. I mean, it's fucking awesome to see shit like that. And I don't know how I feel if this were to come back around, if this whole Blumhouse thing does happen. I don't know. Part of me wants it to happen because I want to see more Spawn. But I'm also just really happy with this one film, how imperfect it is and everything. We also have the animated series, so Anna, definitely check that out. And for everybody else listening, if you haven't seen it animated, if you just know of the movie, please go watch the show. It's 3 seasons. Each season's got 6 episodes in it. It's great. And
It came out on HBO.
yeah. So if you
That's
have
how
Max,
that's how you know. There's boobies.
literally. But yeah, it's gonna be 5 out of 5 farts for me, and I'll take as many clowns as I can.
That's 3,
Oh, yeah.
4, 5. That's 12 farts.
Yeah, dude. I'm so happy to finally have covered this. This is definitely
Yay.
like a dream movie for me to cover on here. And I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
I have you guys to do this. And Anna, for it being your first watch, that makes it even better. God, I wish I was in your seat right now and just being able to rewatch this again. Through like fresh eyes. Amazing. But I guess we'll go over to Big D. What do you got going on your shows?
Flicks and Friends, we will be on the letter L. And I'm just letting you know I enjoyed this way more than what we did for the letter L, which was 1978's The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
The Ralph Bakshi one, Bashkin, whatever the fuck is it, the rotoscoped one. Not good. Not good. But yeah, that's about it. Anna, what do you guys got cooking over on Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies?
It's Anna April when this comes out. Tomorrow will be my first action pick, which is Tomb Raider, the OG. It was just like a geek out episode. Like I feel like it was nostalgia for everyone. We had Daniel on finally from the Geeks with Beards podcast. He's been kind of listening to all of us. I feel like he's a listener, got inspired, turned podcaster slash YouTuber. Him and his
awesome.
co-host Sean does toy reviews as well on YouTube.
That's
so
awesome.
check them out. Just like, you meet a ton of people doing this, and we're lucky to have found some real ones. And Daniel's just one of those. It's a gem. And I was like, yeah, let's get you on. This is perfect. And it had been a very long time since he had seen it. So it was pretty much the first time watch for him. And we had a blast. It was fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Little D, what we got cooking over here, man?
Well, we are in April now, and we're getting very, very close to our family trip.
I know.
Salem
Where they at,
Horror
Anna?
Fest.
Oh, right here.
The little
They
baby
came with a
mics.
little bag, too.
Hell yeah. Yep, we'll be attending Salem Horror Fest, and I'm really, really stoked for that. We're all going to be meeting together and geeking out, watching horror for essentially an entire week, and just having fun. And yeah, it's going to be great.
Having so much fun. I'm excited.
It's gonna be a fucking blast.
And aside from that, we got a Yellow Jacket still pumping out over here. We got 2 more episodes, which we'll be putting out. And not this week, the next week, right?
The
Anna?
following, it'll be, when this comes out, it will be in a week.
Next week.
In a week, yeah.
Yeah. So we got that, and you guys can get early access to that on Patreon. Same with all the other episodes for $1 a month. Get everything up
$1,
to
Bob.
$1,
at
Bob.
least a week early, and we got our Tales episodes coming out with some new Tales merch on the way.
Yes.
There's a lot of shit happening over here. When I mean shit, I mean good shit. It's not any of that poopy poop. It's that good poop. That
None of
stuff
those
that
green,
slides right
none of
out,
those green farts. There's no skid marks here.
Shoot.
But speaking of Tales, next week you guys can anticipate us having interviewed the couple that is behind Pizza Panic Party.
Oh, I'm so stoked.
So that's going to be a ton of fun.
Hell yeah. But yeah, and also if you're listening on any of the audio or on YouTube, especially in audio, make sure you guys are rating us, you're sharing it, and you're commenting on YouTube. Subscribe, share around, comment. Numbers are going up for our subscribers on YouTube, which is amazing to see. And I'm so pumped for this episode to come out. And for anybody who has seen Spawn, let us know in the comments, either on the audio or on YouTube or even on Patreon. Let us know when you saw this. Have you seen it? What'd you think of it? Do you have comics? Like, how did this kind of get you into that world? I'm really, really intrigued. But I think
Unless you're Nate.
I think that's pretty much all that we have for this episode. And thank you guys so much for being here. And Anna, oh my God, like I'm telling you, it makes me so happy to know that this is your first time seeing it and that you enjoyed it. Oh,
Yes.
in 2025, a movie like this
I
can
know,
still
right?
reign true. All right, we'll see everybody on the next one.
Bye.
Later.